Hello everyone. Welcome to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, your home for clean, long-form stories built for text-to-speech. If you enjoy detailed breakdowns with zero fluff, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the join button so we can keep delivering the deep dives you love. Today, we're looking at a moment that set the Turkish entertainment conversation buzzing again, the sight of Elçin Sangu leaving Barış Arduç quietly spellbound at a recent industry gathering. The scene looked small from the outside, no red carpet floodlights, no festival horns, yet it carried the kind of charge that sends fan pages into overdrive and turns a single exchange into a week of speculation. To understand why this moment mattered, you have to rewind to the beginning of their shared story. Elçin Sangu and Barış Arduç did not just meet on a set, they built a working language that audiences could feel even when the script went silent. Their on-screen partnership in Karalık Aşk proved that you can balance sharp comedy with grounded emotion if the trust is real. Since then, both have carried that trust into other projects, never trying to recreate the same formula, always searching for roles that ask new questions. Separate paths, yes, but a shared reputation, disciplined, generous, unafraid of quiet scenes. Now, the event. It was not a premiere, not a gala designed for camera choreography. Think smaller. Think industry night. A room full of writers, producers, directors, department heads, and a handful of faces the public knows, gathered not to pose but to talk shop. The lighting was soft, the schedule loose, and conversations moved in circles, 5 minutes at one table, 10 minutes by the corridor, a round of laughter at a war story from a chaotic shoot day that somehow ended in triumph. Into that rhythm, Elçin arrived as she often does when the pressure is low, composed, economical, present. She let the room come to her instead of chasing it. Barış arrived later, exchanging unhurried greetings with crew first, then colleagues, an order that says a lot about a person's priorities on a working night. Witnesses describe the instant they finally crossed paths as ordinary and electric at once. There was no staged embrace, no lingering pose for a distant lens. It looked like two colleagues who have weathered marathon days together, two friends who don't need to perform friendship to prove it. Barış's posture softened first. He leaned in a fraction the way people do when they are truly listening. Elçin laughed, low, not loud, and the conversation found its pace. He did the small things that matter in close-up, holding eye contact through interruptions, waiting for her to finish a thought before answering, letting a beat of silence live where others would rush to fill it. People who know how to act know how to listen, that is often what you are seeing when someone seems captivated. The buzz began as it always does, not with a perfect photo but with fragments. One table saw a smile that lasted longer than necessary. Another noticed the quiet after she moved on, when he watched the doorway for a second as if time had slowed. Phones came out too late for a clean shot, which made the almost images even more addictive. Frames missing faces. Angles that caught reflections. Short clips where you hear a friend whisper, "Did you see that?" and nothing more. The lack of proof became part of the appeal. A story that might have been dismissed as standard small talk suddenly felt like a scene with subtext. Before anyone jumps to conclusions, it helps to consider the professional current underneath. Sets run on timing, and timing runs on trust. When two actors carry a hit together, that trust doesn't vanish when contracts expire. It lingers in the muscle memory of their exchanges. You can see it in interviews where they answer a beat after the other, like a rhythm section that still knows the song. You can hear it when they describe each other's strengths, never generic, always specific, about timing, restraint, and the courage to hold a close-up without reaching for extra. That history lives in the room even if no one names it. What happened next will surprise no one who has watched a rumor become a plotline. Fan accounts clipped and captioned the fragments. Headlines tried on every tone: romantic reunion, strategic tease, innocent nostalgia. A louder debate broke out in comment sections. Was this simply the glow of mutual admiration, or the first spark of something more? Into that noise, the two principals delivered exactly zero drama. No mirror posts. No cryptic symbols. No sudden interviews to set the record straight. Instead, both kept working. That, more than any official denial, is the clearest signal you can get. Let the scene breathe. There is another layer that makes his reaction understandable without turning it into spectacle. Elçin's presence is composed. She does not overstate. She prefers frames that let expressions carry the weight rather than accessories. That is a style choice, but it is also a professional tactic. When you remove noise from the picture, small signals travel farther. A glance reads as a sentence. A half-smile reads as a paragraph. This is why the descriptions from the room sounded like poetry, not because anything outrageous happened, but because restraint amplifies meaning. From the vantage of the room, the moment read like a private checkpoint between two people who understand how public their smallest actions can become. They built a bond while working under bright lights. They learned how to protect that bond under louder ones. They have nothing to prove, which is precisely why everything they do gets treated like proof. In an ecosystem that rewards constant performance, this kind of restraint reads as power. It takes confidence to allow a moment to be small, and it takes generosity to leave it unexploited. So where does that leave us? With three grounded possibilities. First, this was a pure slice of professional affection, two colleagues grateful for what they built and honest about the fact that it still matters. Second, it was a signpost, not a signal, evidence that their working language remains intact and that a future collaboration wouldn't need a long warm-up. Third, it was both, because in real life categories blur. You can be moved by someone's presence without wanting to script a new romance. You can feel nostalgia and keep boundaries. Adults manage both all the time, we just rarely see it framed without noise. What we can say with confidence is that both continue to make choices that keep them aligned with their strengths. Elçin's recent press days showed the same combination of precision and ease that made her a household name. When she speaks about the craft, she resists the temptation to describe acting as magic, she calls it work. That choice dignifies crews, honors writers, and explains why she often looks more luminous in low-stakes settings than on high-stakes carpets. Barış, for his part, keeps delivering performances that favor silence over showiness. He lets posture do the talking. He knows the power of a delayed reaction. He trusts the cut. Those instincts are exactly the ones that make him look captivated when he meets someone who plays with the same level of control. Let's address the question everyone keeps trying to dress for a reveal: will there be a reunion on screen? The honest answer is that reunions are less about desire and more about architecture. You need a script that respects who they are now, not who they were then. You need schedules that allow them to show up at full capacity, not half speed. You need a director who can frame silence as action and give actors the room to breathe. If such a project appears, their body language this week says they will know within minutes whether it fits. Until then, speculation is just that, air without a frame. Another interesting clue is what did not happen after the gathering. No one rushed to monetize the moment. No sudden fragrance campaign with matching slogans. No limited edition drop of anything. In an era where every glance can be packaged, they chose not to package. That choice itself is a message. It says the work matters more than the noise around the work. It says beauty is allowed to exist without being auctioned. It says a person can be stunned and still be steady. For fans, there is a lesson in how to support the artists you love. Admiration does not have to demand. Curiosity does not have to intrude. You can celebrate chemistry without insisting on a confession. You can let a moment remain a moment. In the comments, tell me how you read the scene. Was it the soft glow of old trust, the spark of new possibilities, or simply two professionals remembering why they liked acting together in the first place? Keep it respectful, this community thrives on kindness and craft. Before we close, return to the image at the center of tonight's story. A room where the conversations kept moving. A crossroads between two people who know each other's rhythms. A smile that arrived before either of them had the chance to manage it. That is all it takes to reset a narrative, not a scandal, not a speech, not a staged tableau, just a reminder that presence is a force, and that grace can still catch even the most composed among us off guard. If this deep dive gave you a clearer way to see the scene, please like this video, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, and ring the bell so you never miss our next long-form breakdown. Thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and until next time, take care and goodbye.